show.
Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate
it's
it, man.
exciting. No, really exciting.
I know you're from England, but do you spend much time in New York City?
I spent quite a lot of time here, yeah.
You did?
I've been coming here since probably like 10 years ago. I shot a movie called Across the Universe, and that was the first time I came here. That was my first time in America, so
really?
it kind of blew my mind to turn up in New York City.
What'd you think about the city?
Yeah, it's one of those things, when you grow up in the UK, you see it so much as a kid, you know, on cartoons and films.
Yeah.
And then you get here and the sight of seeing a yellow taxi just kind of sends your brain sideways, you know?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I was like, there's a fat man eating a hot dog. That's incredible. There's,
yeah, that is incredible. Yeah,
steam really does come out from under the streets.
it really does. Yeah, it's
all
real.
These things that you imagine.
Where'd you hang out? Where you were staying?
Well, when we were doing that, we were in Times Square because we were rehearsing in Times Square, and they kind of had us around the corner. And I think I stayed in Times Square probably for about 2 weeks before I realized there was more to New York than Times Square.
That's why you were looking at a guy eating a hot dog. Yeah, absolutely. Much more to New York.
Yeah, friends of mine would call me, they're like, how's New York? And I'm like, it's good, it's cool, it's pretty intense.
It's like, yeah, I just got in a fight with Elmo. Yeah, exactly. No.
No, and then like, it was honestly, it was about 2 or 3 weeks. I just didn't even leave that sort of vicinity, and then I started to wander and sort of explore a little bit. And then I came across the kind of East Village and the Lower East Side, and I was like, that's the New York I've been looking for.
Yeah, it's cool. Where in the East Village did you go?
I was all over. I mean, every time I come to New York, I always stay around sort of Tompkins Square Park. So I had a place on 10th when I was last here, right opposite the Russian bathhouse. You know that place?
No.
You never been in there?
No, I've never been there. Yeah. The Russian bathhouse?
The Russian bathhouse on 10th Street, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've always given it a wide berth. Like, I've always walked past it thinking, I don't want to know what goes on inside of a Russian bathhouse.
Yeah, what does go on
You know,
inside?
I always imagine it's just a kind of hot, steamy room full of big, sweaty men covered in tattoos. But people kept saying to me, like, oh, you live on 10th Street. Oh, you've got to go to the Russian bathhouse. And like, oh, you're in the East Village? You've got to go to the Russian bathhouse. So, like, I was really hungover one morning after a weekend. I mean, dying hungover. Where you don't know where to put yourself in any position. And then I was like, I might try out the Russian bathhouse.
Yeah, what? That's the only time you
now
do go.
Now it might be a good time. That might clear my head. I might sweat out the alcohol that's kind of in my system.
You did it?
So I went over there, yeah. I went over there, and it was exactly how I imagined. It was a big, hot, steamy room full of very large, sweaty, tattooed men.
Really?
So I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I did. Did it
work?
work?
I kind of cautiously sort of placed myself between two very large, tattooed gentlemen.
And are you wearing towels?
Yeah, you'll have a towel, but you kind of adopt the position where you sort of spread your legs and kind of lean.
Yeah. Man spreading, yeah, of course.
You know.
That's what you do.
And I was filming at the time, so I also had these kind of like semi-permanent tattoos kind of all over my body and arm and all this, which now...
Fake tattoos?
Yeah, which now look like children's transfers.
Of course.
In comparison to
the real tattoos.
To these real guys. And I'm standing there and I'm looking down like this, and I notice them, they're sliding down my arm and they're kind of dribbling off my body, you know, like all over my skin. I've just got tattoos just sliding everywhere.
And the Russian guys are like, this guy's weird, man.
These big dudes are looking at me like, how do you explain that? You know what I mean? How do you, to someone outside of a film set in the real world, how do you kind of even start with that?
No, you can't.
So then I was like, okay, I'm so hot, I'm dying. I'm going to style it out, but I'm dying. And, you know that feeling you get when the blood starts to kind of drain from your head?
Oh.
And your ears start to go funny, and you think, if I don't get up now, I'm going to pass out. I'm not going to make it.
Because it's hot, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's hot and the hangover's kicking in, and I could just kind of see the door sort of faded in the background. Everything was getting pretty kind of fear and loathing in Russian spa kind of vibe. And I thought, I've got honestly, if I don't leave in the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna hit the deck.
You didn't.
So I went to get up, and I kind of stood up, and my legs just kind of buckled underneath me, and I landed in the lap of very large this Russian sweaty gentleman, and we kind of roll around a little bit for it.
Did you come to eventually?
I came around, and we've been best friends ever since. No. I was lucky to get out of there alive, man. I was lucky to get out of there alive.
On and on and on. I said, and it's on and on and on.